Hi, welcome back to our channel. We're carrying on the series regarding writer's fatigue or writer's block. Now, I really encourage you to look through our videos because we've been sharing a lot of great tips on helping you deal with this very, very common issue. And today I want to talk about the aspect of this from a freelance writing or staff writing or assignment writer position. Now, with freelance writing, at least in my experience, I have found that that is an area where I'm choosing a topic because I'm really interested in it. I have a passion for it. I have a lot of contacts that are in that genre that I can rely on, refer to, interview, be inspired by. A lot of great resources. I've done the research. I have a pretty good idea about the topic that I want to write in. I can see multiple different aspects of approaching that particular topic. And so I'm extending the return on investment of my time on that project because I can foresee that in the future, I might be able to write an article about this aspect of it or that aspect of it. Maybe it can be picked up as a series of articles by a publication. Maybe I can rewrite the articles for a variety of different publications. So I've come to the position, that particular stage of the project. So for a freelance writer, because you're already passionate about it, you already have contacts, you've already done the research, it's not really as much of a writer's block or a writer's difficulty, except when it comes close to the deadline, because the deadline's looming and you have to have this project done by then and you want it to be as good as possible. Maybe you haven't figured out a way to open it right or to close it right or to do the intro, for the article itself, the teaser line. Have you come up with something for that? There's so many different additional aspects to your article piece besides just giving the article within that deadline. So with a staff writer, you're often having other staff members that are providing the editing, the proofreading, the images, the bylines is probably going to be your staff name and things like that, rather than an actual byline. The copy, any promo for it, and usually the teaser line, it's all done by other members of the staff. And so you're supported in that regard. However, as a staff writer, you're typically, if you're in-house, you're in a noisy environment. If you're at home, you have to be terribly self-disciplined to make sure that you're going to follow through with that writing. Same thing with freelance writing. You're working from home. You have to be very tenacious, very self-disciplined, and you're often working months in advance when it comes to either staff or freelance writing articles. Now, with a staff writer and assignment writer, however, it's the person who owns the publication who's deciding. Typically, sometimes you can present ideas, but typically it's the person that owns the publication that is saying to you, we have a readership interest in this particular genre with this slant. Here's the contact. We want you to go talk to this person and give us an article with this much word count by this day. So in that regard, you're not necessarily coming up with the idea, but now you have to come up with a creative way of telling the story in an exciting and compelling manner for that particular audience. And so that can be a pressure that can, really challenge writers as well. So whether you're working on any of these aspects, there is one common element for dealing with that blank page, that blinking cursor. And that is just write, right? I know it sounds really simple, but just write, just start writing. Don't worry about if it makes sense. Don't correct yourself. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about complete sentences. Don't worry if it's even in the right order. You're just writing. Write. Start thinking about everything that you can think about this particular genre, that particular aspect, that particular audience, write it all down there. Worry about organizing it, putting in some kind of, pretty bow on it later for you to work on and create your project. Now, what this does is it actually breaks a lot of barriers in our minds. It opens new channels in our minds. It helps us perceive new aspects of the project that weren't there before. And it also helps us clarify where we're going and what we're doing, what we want to say. Now, sometimes, and this is a real issue for myself, I end up having a lot more content than I need. And so for me, I've learned to see that as a good thing. It can be really painful to cut out stuff that you think is really valuable and really important to partake, to put out there, but you can't, you're limited to a word count, and you have to stick with the slant, the angle that that publication is desiring. And so there's lots of other aspects that maybe you would love to be able to include. So in this case, you can rewrite the article for other publications once the rights revert back to you, which is typically in 3 months if you're a freelance writer, and or assignment writer as well sometimes. And so anyway, all of that comes back to you and you can rewrite it. Alternatively, you can write new articles or blog posts or what have you for a variety of other publications with that same genre of writing, but now you're taking it from this slant or that slant, and you're offering different tips and different techniques. As long as the article is fresh and new, then you won't run into any problems in that regard. So having more content than what you're needing, while it can be like a real painful thing to cut out, it's also great fodder for new material in the future. So definitely something to keep in mind in that regard. So really just start writing. Don't try to make sense. It's kind of like barfing on the page in a way. I know it sounds really elegant, but that's what I call it. It's just getting it out there, clearing out those cobwebs, getting all your ideas on paper where you can look at it in a different way rather than having this stuff cycling and bouncing around in your head. And it really does help you see things from a different perspective and fine tune the direction that you're going to go with that project. So hopefully that helps you in your journey as a writer. Keep on coming in with your questions, by the way. This series was based on about dealing with writer's block and writer's fatigue. This series was based on your feedback. So please do keep on dropping in your comments and sending me your messages. I love to hear from you. Love your comments and questions. And it really does inspire me to create more content for our YouTube channel as well. So thank you for all of our viewers for that. Again, be sure to like and subscribe all of our videos. Thank you.